I'm your host, Logan Bruce. And in the Square Table Studios, I have my good friend, David Cooper. David, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, my pleasure, man. Thanks for being here. And you love Star Wars. As you know, here in the Parallel Universe, we're all about cartoons, comics, and sci-fi. And one of the greatest, in my opinion, sci-fi movies ever created would be Star Wars. There have been some bad ones lately. You know, we might not. we'll touch on that a little bit, but still, all in all, Star Wars has been a great franchise. George Lucas knew what he was doing when he started this, and it has touched the hearts of millions of people around the world. So, what a wonderful genre, or scientific movie that has been. I mean, we see all the wonderful spin-offs that have come from the first three episodes. So well, give me your opinion. I know the fans and everybody who watches the show know I love Star Wars. So, how did you get into Star Wars? And how did it make you feel the first time you saw it?
I got into it. I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. My dad gave me a movie with a little dirty, blonde-headed boy on it. I didn't know what it was. I saw there was a blaster in it. Turned it on, and it was just a whole nother world was opened to me. And almost immediately, it felt like an escape from reality, which I think that was what George was going for. He created a universe where people can just forget about their problems and just enjoy a good movie. And it's grown to where it's at now, and that's a testament to George Lucas. But I remember, seeing the Sand People. That was my first time seeing something so terrifying, hearing the roars, and I just remember, this is the greatest experience of my life at the time. I was 6 or 7 years old, and it snowballed from there. I'm now 25 years old, and just as obsessed as I was when I was 6.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw episode 4, and I was probably around the same age, 7, 8, something like that, and I thought it was real. I mean, I said I wanted to find,
the force,
the whole force thing. I was hoping that I could make a lightsaber. I wanted one. I didn't, at that time I didn't know where Jedi's got a lightsaber. Can you buy them? How do you? Right. I wanted one of those. And I really thought that it was someplace real. I thought that Dagobah and all. Well, that was not the first one, but after seeing, I just thought that this galaxy was somewhere. I thought it was real, and I wanted to be there. I wanted my X-wing. I wanted to fight the Empire. That's what I wanted to do. Because it was real to me as a young kid. I said, I know there's a Wookiee someplace. It's got to be. So
George accomplished his goal with you.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Yeah.
So a testament, like you said, to George Lucas and everything, and everybody who worked on this film, and just made it what it was. And so, from episode 4 forward, we just see how this thing has evolved. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if George knew that it would snowball like this and become this giant thing, but if he did know, I need to ask him some stock questions because he predict the future.
I know. I feel like he did. I feel like he always had a grand plan, because even when he was going into retirement, selling the company, he still had movies planned out. Mm-hmm. He had things written. So I don't think all this was by accident. I think maybe he got really lucky when everyone loved the first one. It just made it even easier.
Yeah. Because a lot of people didn't really. A lot of actors and stuff turned the roles down.
Oh, they regret it now.
Yeah, because they didn't. Say, that's just another space movie. That's this and that, and they didn't. And now I know, like you said, they're looking back and like, oh wow, I wish I would have stayed in with it.
Yeah.
So from that first movie that you saw, what made you say, okay, look, I gotta go back and see the rest of them? What was it that and you just had to see everything around Star Wars?
It boils down to good storytelling and good characters and good character development. You know, you episode 4, you're introduced to a different reality, which that alone is amazing and makes you want more. But then characters like Darth Vader,
Hmm.
you don't know who this guy is. You know he's menacing, he's terrifying. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of like Golden Retriever watching episode 4, that first scene where you first see Darth Vader, that dog turns around and walks out the door, like, and he's peeking through. That is just he's such a menacing figure, and you just want to know more. The way that it's written, Obi-Wan, the strange hermit, but he's powerful. He's wise. Like you're constantly wanting more, and then it's would I've liked to seen it when it first came out and experience with the rest of the world, of course. But I had the luxury of as soon as 4 was over, okay, now let's go to 5, let's go to 6, let's go to 1, 2, 3, all of that. So I was able to indulge awfully quickly.
Okay. All right. So how far back did you go? I mean, did you, because there's a lot of story involved with Star Wars that even precedes Episode 1. The prequel trilogies. So how far back would you say you went?
There definitely are more extreme fans than me, and I don't even call them extreme, more devoted fans than me. What's always interested me was the main canon, and really just canon in general. So as soon as probably around 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, when I was really coming into my own nerdy, I like this. This is my identity. Star Wars is one thing. I would buy the books. Basically the encyclopedias breaking down. Okay, this creature's this. This creature's this. This lightsaber, the way it's curved, is because of this. And I just wanted to learn so much. I'd go to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of money, so I would just go to Barnes and Noble and I would pick a book, go in the corner. I would just read the encyclopedia until my mom said it was time to go. Or the book fair, Scholastic Book Fair at school. Just all I could focus on was were there any Star Wars books there? Yeah. Just that's all I cared about. So I would delve as far as the lore behind the main canon characters. I dabbled a little bit in the Old Republic. It didn't really grip me as much as I thought it would. But I recently started getting into the Thrawn series.
Okay.
The Thrawn series by Timothy Zahn or Zahn. God, it's just written so well, and it's just this guy you can tell loves Star Wars because he develops the characters right, he writes them right, he stays true to the characters, and Thrawn is just such a good villain. God, he's such a good villain. If I know a lot of people have seen the Ahsoka show and saw that glimpse of Thrawn, he's even more menacing and mysterious and terrifying, written out over 3 books. It's so really, and then the video games, of course. I don't know, The Force Unleashed, and that's not really canon, but basically anything Star Wars related to the main canon, I was in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, we know that they are working on a Thrawn movie. What is it?
They are.
Well, it's not a focus on Thrawn, I don't think, but it's based off those 3 books. What is it? Something Heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire.
I think they're trying to develop that. I think that's what Ahsoka may be leading into, and then how of course, Heir to the Empire, how that leads to the First Order and everything. I think that's what they're trying to develop coming up. And what are your thoughts on that? If they are coming up with an Heir to the Empire movie or television show,
I'm all for it. I mean, any person who has read a book that they swear by and they love, whenever they hear that there's a movie coming out based on it, you're excited, but you're also worried because you know exactly how that book goes. You know how the story goes, and filmmakers just aren't able to give the details and everything that a book can encompass. Yeah. So will I see it? Of course, but I will be cautious with it. not to get my heart broken. Like I have to go in expecting it to be garbage, and if it's not, I'm happy. You know, as long as you respect the characters, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and on that note, how do you feel about the sequel trilogies, the race series, as far as since you brought up character development and staying true to the characters and everything. So I mean, I know everybody has their own opinion about the Ray trilogy and everything. So you know, let me have yours as a fan of Star Wars.
Um, where do I begin? I've got so much to say. I like Daisy Ridley as an actor, and normally when someone is depicted the way it wasn't, you can tell none of this was her fault.
Yeah.
I can tell none of this was her fault. Anyone who would accept a Star Wars role, you wouldn't even think twice about it. You can just see Star Wars written on the script and you accept. Um, but I think every one of those characters were put in a compromising position, and they've all given interviews talking about how uncomfortable it is now that the sequel trilogy is over. You know, they recognize gaping flaws in their character development, how they're depicted, and I think it boils down to Kathleen Kennedy and her agenda. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
And also, there's no originality. There was no originality. I mean, you have what was the premise of episode 4? There's a young orphan boy on a desert planet who has force ability, who doesn't know about it, meets a mysterious figure, ends up discovering the force that flows through this person, and then you attack and destroy the Empire's main base. It's the exact same thing that happened in, I don't even know.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, there you go. Just about the same exact thing. Which I just think wasn't refreshing. George Lucas has developed so much material, so much territory to cover in this world he created. You don't have to restart. You don't have to redo. Just because it was successful in the past doesn't mean it's going to be successful in the future. That's how I feel on it.
Okay.
And I'll cut it. I'll cut it there.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Yeah. I kind of feel sorry because now the one thing that if I were ever offered a role in Star Wars, I mean, I know the fan base, and I know how they are, or we are, especially like you said, the
We're
ones
loyal.
We're loyal, and we understand Star Wars, and we want to see that. And those who are really devoted fans, when something isn't Star Wars, we get upset.
Yeah.
Especially the more devoted ones. They do get upset. So if I was, offered the role, I would definitely want to make sure that you can only do so much because of, directors and producers and what they say. But the fan base can get mean, especially if you don't, so I wonder if they knew how strongly
they should have.
The fans are about their Star Wars.
All they had to do was Google any movie release and see the line going down the street, around the corner.
Blocks.
And you said it earlier. You said it's touched hearts. People love Star Wars for a multitude of reasons. For some people, it's a way to relax. Some people, it's an escape. Star Wars means a lot to people, and if you are going to take over the keys to such an important franchise, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
And George Lucas, thankfully, he had complete control. He knew what his vision was. He stayed true to his characters. He wrote them a certain way. And I think that's why it's so successful. Now, Hollywood, it's very rare that you have full control of a project.
Wow. Yeah. And I feel sorry for the actors and actresses who had to quote unquote suffer.
Right.
Because it was not. The prequels were not. Well, the sequel trilogies didn't live up to Star Wars.
Yeah.
and these guys had it rough. Um, had it rough, man. Even as far back, or as with Jar Jar Binks, the actor that portrayed him, he got a lot of.
He was suicidal or something.
Yeah, I mean,
the hate was
extreme. Yeah,
and young Anakin.
Yeah.
Oh God, his not only his career was tanked, but his mental health, everything is just drugs and arrests, and it all stemmed from the abuse he got.
Yeah, and it's bad. As fans, they want to see their beloved Star Wars.
But again, it's not their fault.
It's not their fault, right?
That's I mean, there's a difference between being a devoted fan of something and being an awful person.
Yeah.
We're not going to defend Star Wars fans to that degree.
Right.
And also, that was George's fault. We sing George's praises, but he's the one who designed Jar Jar. He chose the actor, he chose the voice, everything. So, if anything.
Well, yeah, but like,
yeah.
The fans aren't gonna go after the creator. They're gonna
exactly.
Which you were like, this is fault on that one, but nobody's. But he did get redeemed because he was
right.
The actor that portrayed Jar Jar Binks. Actually was the Jedi that saved Grogu in the Mandalorian series. So what's his name?
Initially,
I can't remember. I can't remember his name. I do apologize, but yeah. So that was that same actor, So they redeemed him, so to speak, as an actor. So that was pretty cool.
Do you also feel whenever you see somebody who is not from the original Star Wars movies, you see a new character, a new actor? Do you instantly get skeptical? Like your guard goes up?
Yeah, he does now.
Because I get terrified when I saw that actor pop up. I didn't know who he was, but I knew he was involved with the main character. I got scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm just expecting now for it to derail
at some point
how the story should go, or how I believe the story should go.
Yeah, and so and the funny thing, and that happened because of the prequel trilogies with Jar Jar Binks, because we saw new characters come in from Star Wars Episode 4 to Empire Strikes Back. We ain't never seen Boba Fett. Right. But when we saw him, it was like, who is this cool? Who is this guy? And so.
Sorry, you mean from Episode 4 to
Episode 5? Yeah, that was
4 to 6. Yeah.
4 to 6. Yeah, 4, 5,
and 6. He wasn't 4.
Yeah, he was
for a little bit. Yeah.
And so you see these new characters. We never saw Jabba the Hutt. Well, he was actually in Star Wars, but they cut him out of the original movie. He was just a person. He wasn't a slug.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the original Jabba the Hutt was just a regular guy. He was a human being.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, but they cut that scene out. Okay, so Han, right after Obi-Wan and Luke and everything pay Han to take them to
and they catches them outside.
Yeah. So right before that happened, right after that happened, you see Han go to the Millennium Falcon to get it warmed up and everything, and Jabba is there, and he's trying to he wants his money because Han had dropped his cargo. Yeah, and so he was trying to get his money. He had his boys with him, and that's why it was right after he shot Greedo. And so
that weird shot.
That weird, yeah.
How did that? That's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah, that is. and so he was there, and he was just a regular person, but they cut that out of what they, the original movie that they aired, when they put it in cinema and everything. They cut that scene got cut out, and they later, in the new edition, the special editions, they put it back. But by that time, of course, we had already known Jabba as this giant slug from Return of the Jedi. We saw him, and so they had to make a slug. They had to redo it and make the slug character. He could actually crawl around. He hadn't got as big as he was in Return of the Jedi, where he was confined to his throne. So we meet new characters all the time in Star Wars, and we never had that fear of it going to the left.
Because George was at the helm. In the Star Wars universe, he is God.
Yeah.
Whatever he says, we accept.
Right. and it was just cool. You know, you won't worry about it. But now it's like,
yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, who was? Oh, what do you? Well, yeah.
What's the reason behind this character being here?
Right.
That isn't just Star Wars and adding to the story. You know.
Yeah. So and that's all because of our experience with Jar Jar Binks and everything, the Gungans and all of that. I didn't understand that really. It was.
I think he was enjoying the world creating a little much.
Yeah.
But that it settles in. It settles now. When I see the gun, I'm like, yeah, those are the Gungans.
Yeah, it's a new race of people that It's like okay, so now you can actually bring Gungans into other storylines or have them in the background of a scene, and people will know okay, they're Gungans. You can do a lot of stuff with that now if you decide to do. Oh yeah, we got got Star Wars on the big screen back there. So just like you said, it was kind of scary whenever a new character pops up. Your guard instantly goes up, and you're trying to hopefully that this character,
I just think it's sad. Whenever I see a new Star Wars project, I walk in with the expectation it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
So my heart doesn't break, and I'm pleasantly surprised when it's not awful, or not as awful as I thought it would be. Yeah, there's only a few projects where I give my stamp of approval.
Right. I understand that. And do you think a lot of that is fan expectations? Because something could be good, but we expected this and it wasn't that, so it's like this stinks.
Yeah. I heard a director. I was reading something, and the director said, "Never create a movie, show, whatever, with the audience in mind."
Oh.
Which I think to a degree is good. I think to a degree that makes sense. But when you're dealing with, because you don't want to limit yourself in your creative ability, and I think that's where it's important. It's the creativity. Now they're making these Star Wars projects thinking only about the audience. And when I say audience, I don't mean the loyal fans that have been there since the beginning who truly love Star Wars. I think they're thinking, okay, what's going on in the world today? What is the people like from a statistics standpoint, and how can we draw people in to this world of Star Wars that people like you and I have been around basically our whole lives.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you're slapping us in the face, and you're ruining what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, because okay, first of all, you definitely don't need to be worried about what's going on in the literal world to create a Star Wars movie, because
it's fantasy, it's escape, it's
a galaxy far, far away.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not here.
Yeah.
So don't do that. I mean, and it's George Lucas, he kind of touched on a little bit of it. It was kind of wove under underneath the main plot lines, of having social issues involved. With we didn't know about it when Star Wars first came out, because we didn't know who in the world the Empire was. We didn't know anything political or anything like that. So it was kind of in there, but he didn't care about that.
Yeah.
And so, but it was there. So Star Wars is deeper. It's just not a movie about fighting in space. There's a reason behind this war and the rebels and everything, but it was woven in there so under the radar, so to speak. He didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And so he didn't, and I think at that time it was 1977 or 76 and everything when he was creating it. So you had wars and stuff before that, like the Vietnam War and the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that kind of stuff. I do believe it was before that. So you had all those things that were on people's mind, but George didn't make that the main focus of his movie.
Yeah, you go to the movies
to get away.
And that's the problem, not just with Star Wars, with movies today. When you want to go to a movie with your family or your friends, you want to turn your brain off from the many problems this world has and just forget about it for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
You don't want to walk into a movie and get thrown issues that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It ruins the experience.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It does, you know.
Because we all got problems that we deal with every single day. I want to escape that.
Yeah. Yeah. And movies are a good way to do it.
Oh, God, that's why I love it. I love it so much.
Okay. So, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Episode 3.
Episode 3?
Episode 3.
Okay. Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. My best friend up in Bethel, New York. We were talking about cinema, film, movies, and basically it's cinema being a masterpiece. You forget that it's a movie. You know,
Okay.
you can. It's almost like art.
Right?
We put Episode 5 as cinema. We think Episode 5 is just a perfect Star Wars movie, let alone a movie. You know, it's great. Episode 3, it is an excellent film.
Okay.
Obviously, you can tell it's still a movie. You know, it's not perfect, but seeing the full circle
Right.
from the originals with the prequels, you know, again, I had only known Vader. I guess I experienced it like the rest of us, just at a expedited pace. I saw Darth Vader die in Episode 6, and I thought that was the end of it. And then I got introduced to 1, 2, and then I saw him put the mask on in 3, and I was like, I just feel complete now. and the drama in the middle, where Episode 6, when Order 66 was executed, you're seeing all your favorite Jedi you've grown to just love and appreciate be killed in cold blood. The music, the music. I have that on my phone. It'll pop up when I'm driving every now and then. I let it play. Yeah. It's just, it hits you in the feels, and when you can pull those heartstrings in a Star Wars movie where we already are devoted, you know, it's just, God, I love it. I love Episode 5 is on paper the better movie, and probably Episode 4 and maybe even 6, but personally, Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Oh gosh.
As Vader, you know, so poet, you know, he brought, you know, he was like, the circle is now complete, you know. So you saw that, you know, it was.
Which it's unique, right? You get introduced to the villain first, you see the villain die, and then you get the back. It's so jumbled up, but it makes sense once you get the full picture.
Yeah, see, that's my definition of gumbo. So you put in all the right ingredients, and you stirred it, you watched the temperature, and you came out with gumbo. It just wasn't thrown in there and hope.
Yeah, I think that's a good illustration. You watch the temperature, because they cranked it up to 10 in the sequels, and it didn't taste like gumbo.
It wasn't gumbo. That was not gumbo. And so
patience, letting things simmer. Yeah.
Get everything right. Get the right ingredients. Make sure they were fresh.
Yep.
You know, and then you put it together. You know, and just like cooking, you know, we were introduced to Vader as a kid. You know, and everything, and it wouldn't have hit us as hard as like he did it. We got introduced to him first, and then you wanted to know where he came, especially after Obi-Wan says he was a Jedi, you know, and it told the backstory a little bit of you know, Anakin Skywalker and how he was seduced. So then you were like, wait a minute, so there's more to this guy that just tore the ship up, you know. I want to know about it.
Yeah.
And so then George had everything he could work with. You know, he already had the ingredients, and just like cooking, sometimes you got to put stuff in after you start. You know, so that's what he did. He started here, worked his way up, and then came back and added the finishing touches with 1, 2, and 3. And it you felt complete. You saw the whole story. You understood how he went from Anakin and to Darth Vader and why that happened. You know, with his mom dying. You know.
Yeah.
And the whole
the Tuskens
camp.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Him already losing his mom when he became a Jedi.
You feel for him.
You feel for him, you know.
And he's being judged
all
the time.
So you see all this, and we got, as a lot of people have mentioned, you know, he's a grown man, but he still thinks like a kid. He still has that child mentality, and you take that and give somebody
he's a broken boy.
Broken boy is what he was.
He's a broken boy that never
had a chance to heal.
Yeah.
You know, he went and then and on top of that, he's got powers and stuff like that. Because he's a Jedi, and who wouldn't have those type of issues? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it makes sense he turned to the dark side, because what's the dark side? You act on instinct, you act out of rage, selfishness, and when let's just say you and I went through what he went through growing up.
Yeah.
We'd be messed up individuals. So it's a testament to how powerful he was with the dark side, because he had so many of those raw feelings he couldn't let go of. So.
Yeah. And then he fell in love. And we all
what a recipe for disaster.
For disaster. I mean, we're not saying falling in love is disastrous, but
no, let's pour forbidden love into this subject.
Yeah, because he wasn't supposed to. So now he's got these powers. He's lost his mom. He's being judged by everybody saying that he's not the chosen one, and he has that pressure of people saying that he is the chosen one. So he's got all of this, and then he finds this beautiful woman, but he can't even really fall in love with her. So now he has to keep that a secret. So now he's kind of torn between the love of being a Jedi and everything that entails. In a very normal life that people, meet each other, fall in love, and get married. Yeah. So now he's torn between all of that because he can't really do it. And so you put that, on top of everything else. I mean,
kudos to him for lasting as long as he did.
Yeah.
Because he was going to turn the Chancellor over.
Yeah.
He had every intention of doing the right thing. It was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I can't blame him. I really can't. But what you said is perfect, because if we were introduced to young Anakin, like this stupid little kid, like we already don't have love for him already, and then seeing the 2 and then the 3 and then if he just went bad, like that wouldn't feel as fulfilling as it is seeing him at his worst, and then seeing all the love he had from Obi-Wan and Padme, and the relationships he built there. Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, it just was. I mean, what else can we say about Star Wars? Other than the fact we love it.
George knows what he's doing most of the time.
And I think that hopefully from here on out, if he has any more control, or he has his hand in the pot, then he will make sure it goes right. But if not, I think I think they release movies to the wrong people to critique. They don't need to show any of the people that they show these to. They need to find true loyal fans like, what y'all think of this? Before we send this out, what do we need to change? How can we fix it if it's something broke? Because the people that look at it, I don't know if they even care about the lore and, like you said, character development and things of that nature. They just see it, this is going to make a lot of money, let's put it out there, and then
That's a great idea. Having like you give me a 1-page essay on why you should critique this movie. Yeah. Tell me your Star Wars history. Tell me your love. Like what we're doing right now. Let's make sure you deserve to see our project.
Right. Yeah. If you can't say anything about the first, episode 4, 5, and 6, you don't need to. Right. Yeah. You're not seeing nothing. Get out of here, because you don't understand.
Right.
It needs to be people who understand it and love it and want to see the best. I think those need to be the people who see the movie and or what do they call it, the pre-release or the screening of it.
The screening.
To
pre-screening or something.
Pre-screening, to see how people react to it, because other people I don't know if they get it, they don't care, I don't know. Because somebody had to tell these people, this is good. And people believe
they lied to you.
And they lied to it. That's what they did. I don't know if it's because they were involved with it and they thought about the money they could. I don't know.
I wonder if they saw this and thought, this is amazing. Not seeing episode 4 and seeing it was a carbon copy of the same thing,
Who knows?
Halfway, towards the end, she's already doing Jedi mind tricks and what?
Yeah, yeah, and it was like
Luke. The only thing force related that Luke had was Obi-Wan was able to speak to him.
Yeah.
The TIE fighter at the end, and he picked up on that.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and I mean that was it. And
that's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and even in Episode 5, when he's hanging from the Wampa's cave, he could barely move his lightsaber. He could barely. He's trying. And by the second episode, she's got what rocks floating around. She's doing Jedi flips, and
then she somehow masters
lightning, and
with having no experience with the dark side.
I mean, you're just like, man.
First of all, hey, if anything, that shows you're not a good Jedi. If you're shooting lightning at your fingers just from your gut, you know.
Yeah, just, what are you doing?
Cancel your training.
Yeah, I mean, but Luke did say that too. He said you went straight to the dark side. You know, so it's way too many ingredients. Want the right type of ingredients, and it turns into radio. You are not getting gumbo. That is not.
No, and you got to put a good chef.
Gotta have
at the helm of the pot. I mean, that's why you got the Filonis and the Favreaus. I mean, I have full confidence in them as long as they can keep their hands out of the political environment and just focus on making good Star Wars products. They've proven good.
Yeah. So only time will tell. So, well, you guys, that's going to bring it into this universe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank my special guest, David Cooper. Thank you so very much for being here. And, you know, since you are a fan of Star Wars, I got you something. Yeah. I've got you a Pop Dark City.
Oh, man.
Check that out. So thank you so very much for being
Thank you so much.
My guest today. And,
that's awesome.
You know, I really appreciate it. Now, I have learned something about you as well.
What's that?
One of your favorite characters is Obi-Wan. You like Obi-Wan. But you really like Count Dooku, correct?
Oh, I love the depth of him.
Yeah, he's a character with a lot of depth. There's more to him, and that's a podcast on his own because we know that he was once a Jedi as well.
Oh yeah.
So he's a deep.
You haven't
character.
seen Tales of the Jedi? Watch Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. That tells a lot.
Oh gosh.
And there's still so much more. So
right.
So since you're a fan of Dooku, I also got you a pop of Dooku. Thanks so very much for being my guest today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Oh yeah, man, you definitely got to come back and we can discuss some more Star Wars.
Yeah, we'll switch it up. Whatever you want to do.
All right, that'll work, man. Whatever you want to do, we can make it happen.
We can make 5 more episodes on Star Wars. I got a lot to say.
All right. Well, we can make it happen. So once again, you guys, it's going to bring you into this universe. Thank you so very much, David Cooper, for joining me. You can check us out on Spotify and on YouTube. Tell us what you think about Star Wars. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you feel about the prequels and the sequel trilogies? You can email me at paralleluniverse1974@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Logan_Bruce42. So just give me your feedback. Tell me what you think. Thank you guys so very much. I couldn't do this without you guys, and I'm going to continue to do this because of you guys. So thank you. I can't say thank you enough. And as always, we'll see you in a parallel universe.